Something entered our solar system on July 1st, 2025, and nothing about it makes sense. They call it 3I/ATLAS, the third confirmed interstellar visitor to cross the threshold of our cosmic neighborhood. And from the moment it was spotted by astronomers in Chile, this object has been systematically violating every single rule we thought governed how space rocks behave. With an orbital eccentricity of 6.2, meaning it is traveling more than 6 times faster than what gravity alone should allow, this mysterious visitor is not just passing through our solar system, it is racing through it with the kind of precision that suggests deliberate intent rather than cosmic coincidence. For weeks, scientists assured the public this was simply another comet, another chunk of ancient ice and rock wandering between the stars. But whispers have been growing louder in classified briefings and secure communication channels throughout government facilities. A leaked document from deep within Pentagon intelligence circles has shattered that comfortable narrative with a revelation so extraordinary that multiple officials have risked their careers to bring it forward. According to these explosive classified reports, 3I/ATLAS is not a natural object at all. It is an intelligently designed warship equipped with self-repairing technology that defies every known principle of engineering and physics that humanity has ever documented. The leaked materials describe an object that can regenerate damaged hull sections, reconfigure its external structure in response to changing conditions, and maintain operational capability across interstellar distances that would destroy any spacecraft humans have ever constructed. If these reports prove accurate, then humanity is not simply observing a space rock drifting through our cosmic backyard. We are watching an active military vessel from an unknown civilization, one that possesses technology so advanced it appears almost magical when measured against our current scientific understanding. The question that keeps defense analysts awake at night is brutally simple. If this is a warship, what exactly is it prepared to fight? The discovery that changed everything. The Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System telescope in Chile first captured 3I/ATLAS during a routine survey of the southern sky. And for approximately 18 hours, astronomers believed they had simply found another unremarkable asteroid following a typical solar orbit. Then the preliminary trajectory calculations came back, and every astronomer who reviewed those numbers experienced the same moment of profound disorientation. The object was not following any orbit at all. It was moving through our solar system on a hyperbolic path that meant it came from somewhere beyond our sun's gravitational influence and would eventually return to the infinite darkness between the stars. Within 48 hours of that initial detection, every major observatory on the planet had redirected their instruments toward this mysterious visitor. The James Webb Space Telescope captured infrared signatures that revealed complex thermal patterns inconsistent with simple solar heating. The Hubble Space Telescope produced visible light images showing geometric irregularities on the object's surface that did not match the chaotic shapes typical of natural asteroids and comets. Ground-based radar installations detected structural densities that suggested hollow internal chambers rather than the solid or loosely packed interiors that characterize every other space rock humanity has ever studied. What truly set alarm bells ringing throughout the global scientific community was the object's brightness behavior. Most comets follow predictable mathematical curves as they approach the sun, gradually increasing in luminosity as solar radiation heats their surfaces and causes volatile materials to vaporize into visible clouds of gas and dust. 3I/ATLAS decided to completely ignore those well-established patterns by executing sudden dramatic brightness surges that appeared and disappeared without any corresponding change in its distance from the sun or any detectable chemical processes that could explain such rapid transformations. By the third week of observation, classified military satellites had joined the surveillance effort, and the data they collected would never be shared with the public scientific community. advanced spectroscopic analysis revealed isotopic ratios in the object's faint atmospheric halo that match no known stellar population in our galaxy. The specific combinations of elements detected suggested formation conditions that simply do not exist anywhere in the observable universe according to current astrophysical models. Either our fundamental understanding of stellar chemistry is catastrophically wrong, or 3I/ATLAS was manufactured using materials that do not occur naturally in space, the impossible chemistry of war. When government scientists conducted detailed spectroscopic analysis of the gases surrounding 3I/ATLAS, they discovered a chemical signature so bizarre that multiple independent laboratories were asked to verify the results because nobody could believe the initial readings. The object's atmospheric composition showed concentrations of exotic isotopes that should only exist inside nuclear reactors or particle accelerators, not drifting through the cold vacuum of interstellar space. Traces of technetium-99, an element with no stable isotopes that decays completely within a few 100,000 years, were detected in quantities that would require active ongoing production rather than ancient primordial reserves. Even more disturbing was the presence of antimatter signatures in the electromagnetic spectrum surrounding the object. Antimatter should not exist naturally in any significant quantity anywhere in our universe because it instantly annihilates upon contact with normal matter in a burst of pure energy. Yet 3I/ATLAS appeared to be surrounded by a faint halo of antiprotons and positrons that somehow remained stable despite being immersed in the normal matter environment of our solar system. The only plausible explanation involved magnetic containment fields of extraordinary sophistication, the kind of technology that humanity has only begun to explore in our most advanced experimental physics laboratories. The leaked Pentagon documents describe what intelligence analysts are calling a propulsion waste signature that appears remarkably similar to theoretical designs for antimatter catalyzed fusion engines. These hypothetical propulsion systems would use tiny amounts of antimatter to trigger fusion reactions in normal matter fuel, producing thrust levels millions of times more efficient than any chemical rocket. Several nations have researched these concepts for decades, but the engineering challenges of antimatter production, storage, and controlled annihilation have kept such engines firmly in the realm of theoretical speculation. Until now, apparently. Thermal imaging from military reconnaissance satellites revealed another impossible characteristic that directly contradicts everything scientists understand about how objects behave in the vacuum of space. Certain sections of 3I/ATLAS maintain absolutely constant temperatures regardless of their orientation toward the sun or their distance from solar radiation. Natural objects in space exhibit dramatic temperature variations as different surfaces rotate in and out of sunlight, with temperature differences often exceeding several hundred degrees within just hours. The thermal stability observed on 3I/ATLAS implies active environmental control systems that can regulate heat distribution across the object's entire structure with remarkable precision. Perhaps most chilling of all is what the leaked documents refer to as regenerative hull activity. High-resolution radar imaging, conducted over a period of several weeks, revealed subtle but measurable changes in surface topography that cannot explain by natural erosion, impact cratering, or outgassing processes. Small irregularities and what initially appeared to be damage zones were observed to gradually smooth out and disappear over the course of days, as if the object's surface was actively repairing itself. Materials science experts consulted by military intelligence noted that such behavior would require self-organizing nanoscale structures capable of autonomous reconstruction, technology that exists only in the most speculative corners of advanced materials research, the military technology nobody expected. According to the classified briefing documents that were leaked to several investigative journalists in late October 2025, Pentagon analysts have identified what they believe are weapon systems integrated into the structure of 3 I/Atlas. The evidence comes from electromagnetic emissions detected during periods of intense solar activity when the object's power systems appeared to activate more aggressively. Pulsed microwave signatures with frequencies and modulation patterns consistent with directed energy weapon targeting radars were recorded by signals intelligence satellites during a particularly strong solar storm that occurred in mid-September. The leaked materials describe a 17-minute period during which 3 I/ATLAS emitted a series of highly focused radio pulses directed toward Mars with such precision that military analysts initially suspected they were observing some kind of targeting acquisition sequence. The pulses swept across the Martian surface in a systematic grid pattern that covered all major geological features and both poles within the span of those 17 minutes. If this interpretation is correct, then 3 I/ATLAS was conducting an active reconnaissance scan of Mars using sensor technology far more sophisticated than anything in humanity's current military arsenal. Even more alarming are the structural features identified through synthetic aperture radar imaging conducted by classified military satellites. The three-dimensional reconstructions produced by these radar systems revealed internal architecture that bears uncomfortable similarities to human military spacecraft designs, with what appear to be isolated compartments, reinforced sections that could serve as armor plating, and a central core region that exhibits the kind of heavy shielding typically associated with nuclear reactors or antimatter containment systems. Defense analysts highlighted one particularly concerning structural element that appears to be a deployable mechanism currently in a retracted configuration. The exact purpose of this mechanism remains unknown, but its design suggests it is intended to extend outward from the main body of the craft when activated. Speculation ranges from communication arrays to weapons platforms, but without direct examination, any interpretation remains purely hypothetical. What is not hypothetical is that this structure exists, that it appears to be engineered rather than natural, and that it is clearly designed to perform some specific function that requires it to extend beyond the object's main hull. The trajectory analysis conducted by military orbital mechanics specialists revealed another deeply unsettling characteristic. 3 I/ATLAS is not following a passive ballistic path through our solar system. It is making small but measurable course corrections that cannot be explained by gravitational perturbations from nearby planets or by the rocket effect caused by asymmetric outgassing from a comet nucleus. The object appears to be under active guidance control, making strategic adjustments to its velocity and direction that optimize its path through the inner solar system while avoiding close encounters with Earth and Jupiter. Self-repairing technology from beyond the stars. The most extraordinary claims in the leaked Pentagon documents center around what analysts are describing as autonomous regenerative systems that appear to maintain and repair the structure of 3 I/ATLAS during its journey through space. Long-duration observation campaigns conducted by both civilian and military telescopes documented at least 7 separate incidents where surface features on the object changed significantly over periods ranging from several days to a few weeks. In each case, what initially appeared as impact craters, fissures, or irregular protrusions gradually disappeared as the surrounding material seemed to flow and reshape itself. Materials scientists brought in to consult on these observations noted that the behavior is consistent with programmable matter, a theoretical class of materials composed of nanoscale or microscale components that can reconfigure themselves in response to external stimuli or internal programming. Such materials have been proposed in scientific literature for decades and demonstrated in very limited laboratory experiments, but nothing approaching the scale and sophistication apparently operating on 3 I/ATLAS has ever been achieved by human technology. The ability to maintain structural integrity across millions of miles of high-speed interstellar travel would require self-repair systems far beyond anything in our current engineering capabilities. The leaked documents describe something even more remarkable, evidence of what intelligence analysts are calling adaptive armor response. During the intense solar storm in September that triggered unusual electromagnetic emissions from the object, its radar cross-section changed significantly over the course of just 48 hours. The surface that had previously reflected radar signals in a relatively uniform pattern began exhibiting angular fasting and geometric patterns characteristic of stealth technology designed to deflect or absorb detection signals. It was as if the object's hull was actively reconfiguring itself to reduce its visibility to human sensors. Once it detected it was being systematically scanned by Earth-based radar systems. This adaptive capability suggests an awareness of its environment that goes far beyond simple automated responses to physical damage or solar radiation. The craft appears to possess sophisticated sensor systems that can detect when it is being observed and can modify its external configuration to counteract those observation attempts. Military intelligence analysts compared this behavior to the most advanced electronic warfare systems in humanity's arsenal, technologies designed to detect enemy radar and automatically deploy countermeasures. The fact that an object traveling through deep space for potentially millions of years still possesses functional systems capable of such sophisticated responses raises profound questions about the civilization that constructed it. The energy requirements for continuous self-repair across interstellar distances are staggering, according to physicists consulted by Pentagon analysts. Maintaining active nanoscale systems, powering sensors and defensive adaptations, and operating propulsion systems capable of course corrections all require enormous amounts of energy that must be generated, stored, and distributed efficiently across the entire structure. The leaked document suggests that 3 I/ATLAS may be equipped with what amounts to a miniature star contained within its core, a fusion reactor, or possibly even an antimatter annihilation system that provides effectively unlimited power for its journey across the galaxy. What happens when it comes back? The orbital trajectory of 3 I/ATLAS tells a story that keeps military strategists awake at night, staring at computer projections and running simulation after simulation, hoping to find a different conclusion. The object is not simply passing through our solar system on its way to somewhere else. Its path curves through the inner system in a way that will allow it to perform what aerospace engineers call a gravity assist maneuver, using the sun's gravitational field to alter its velocity and direction before returning to interstellar space. But here is where the mathematics become truly concerning. The gravity assist path chosen by 3I Atlas is not random, and it is not optimized for simply gaining speed to continue its cosmic journey. According to classified trajectory analysis, the course corrections made by the object are positioning it for a return pass through our solar system, but with a different approach vector that will bring it significantly closer to Earth than its current trajectory allows. Orbital mechanics specialists calculate that if 3 I/ATLAS maintains its current pattern of subtle course adjustments, it could return to the inner solar system in approximately 8 to 12 years following a path that brings it within the orbital radius of the Moon. That proximity would allow for detailed observation of our planet with whatever sensor systems the craft possesses, or potentially for something much more direct if its intentions prove hostile. The possibility that this is a reconnaissance mission preceding a larger operation has become the dominant theory among military intelligence analysts, according to the leaked documents. Every military force in human history has conducted reconnaissance before committing to major operations, and it would be reasonable to assume that an advanced alien civilization would follow similar strategic principles. 3 I/ATLAS may be gathering information about our technological capabilities, our defensive readiness, and our planetary resources in preparation for decisions that will be made by whatever intelligence controls its mission parameters. What makes this scenario particularly unsettling is the realization that there is effectively nothing humanity could do to prevent a return visit or to defend against a hostile action if 3I/ATLAS or similar vessels decide to take aggressive action. Our most advanced spacecraft travel at velocities measured in kilometers per second. 3I/ATLAS is moving at velocities measured in tens of kilometers per second with the apparent ability to make course corrections that require energy outputs far exceeding anything human propulsion technology can generate. Any conflict between current human technology and whatever civilization produced 3I/ATLAS would be as one-sided as a confrontation between Stone Age weapons and modern military forces. The leaked Pentagon documents outline several contingency scenarios being developed by military planners, though the options available are limited and largely defensive in nature. Proposals include accelerated development of deep space detection networks that could provide earlier warning of approaching interstellar objects, research into directed energy weapons that might be effective against advanced spacecraft, and most ambitiously, crash programs to develop human interstellar propulsion capabilities that could at least allow us to pursue or intercept such objects rather than simply watching them pass through our cosmic neighborhood. The silent watchers above. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the leaked intelligence regarding 3I/ATLAS is not what it tells us about this particular object, but what it implies about how long we may have been observed without knowing it. The mathematical analysis included in the Pentagon documents explores the statistical probability that 3I Atlas represents a unique event, the only alien probe that has ever passed through our solar system during humanity's brief existence. The numbers do not support that comforting interpretation. Given the vast distances between stars and the apparent rarity of interstellar objects, if we assume they are all natural, the odds of detecting 3 separate interstellar visitors within just 8 years seem statistically improbable. That improbability suggests one of 2 possibilities. Either interstellar objects are far more common than astronomical models predict, and we have simply lacked the observational capabilities to detect them until recently, or at least some of these objects are not random wanderers, but directed missions with specific destinations and purposes. If the second interpretation proves correct, then our solar system may be far more frequented by interstellar visitors than anyone previously imagined. Military strategists have begun considering the possibility that dozens or even hundreds of similar objects may have passed through our solar system during recorded human history, their presence completely undetected because we lack the telescopic technology to spot them against the vast darkness of space. Ancient historical records from cultures around the world contain references to mysterious lights in the sky, celestial visitors that appeared and disappeared in patterns that did not match any known astronomical phenomena of those eras. While most of these accounts have been dismissed as misidentifications of comets, planets, or atmospheric phenomena, a small percentage describe objects exhibiting behaviors that sound remarkably similar to what we are now observing with 3I/ATLAS. The leaked documents reference classified research into historical astronomical records from both ground-based observatories and early space-based telescopes, searching for evidence of previous interstellar visitors that may have been misclassified as comets or asteroids because their unusual characteristics were not recognized at the time. Preliminary results from this historical analysis have identified at least 17 objects detected between 1950 and 2015 that exhibited trajectory, anomalies, or brightness behaviors inconsistent with natural comets, but were never investigated further because the technology to conduct detailed analysis did not exist when they were observed. If even a small fraction of these historical anomalies represent genuine interstellar visitors with characteristics similar to 3I Atlas, then humanity has been under systematic observation for decades or longer without ever realizing it. That possibility fundamentally changes our understanding of Earth's position in the cosmic community. We are not an isolated civilization developing in peaceful obscurity. We are potentially a watched species, monitored by unknown intelligences with technologies and intentions we cannot yet comprehend. Every advancement we make, every conflict we engage in, every transformation of our civilization may have been observed and cataloged by watchers whose presence we could not detect until our own technology finally reached the threshold necessary to perceive them, what we can never take back. The leak of classified Pentagon intelligence regarding the true nature of 3I/ATLAS represents a turning point that cannot be undone regardless of official denials or attempts to discredit the information. Once knowledge escapes containment, once people begin asking questions that cannot be comfortably answered, the foundation of assumptions upon which society operates begins to crack in ways that prove impossible to repair. Government officials can issue carefully worded statements assuring the public that everything is under control and that there is no cause for concern. But those reassurances ring hollow when measured against the documented evidence of an object moving through our solar system that exhibits characteristics no natural phenomenon can explain. The civilization that constructed 3I Atlas possessed technological capabilities that placed them centuries, if not millennia, ahead of current human achievements. They have mastered interstellar propulsion, self-repairing materials, antimatter containment, and potentially artificial intelligence systems capable of autonomous operation across millions of years of deep space travel. Any meaningful communication or interaction with such an advanced civilization would necessarily occur on terms they dictate rather than conditions we prefer. We are not their equals in this cosmic relationship, and pretending otherwise would be a dangerous delusion that could cost humanity dearly if our assumptions prove incorrect. The debate now consuming classified military briefings and emergency government sessions around the world centers on a fundamental question that has no comfortable answer. Do we attempt to communicate with whatever intelligence controls 3I/ATLAS, revealing our presence and capabilities in hopes of establishing peaceful contact? Or do we remain silent and hope that we are beneath their notice or outside their current objectives? Both options carry existential risks that could determine the future trajectory of human civilization for millennia to come. If we attempt communication and succeed in attracting attention, we may be inviting contact with an intelligence whose values, ethics, and intentions bear no relationship to human concepts of morality or peaceful coexistence. History provides ample evidence of what happens when technologically advanced civilizations encounter less developed cultures, and those historical parallels offer little reason for optimism about humanity's prospects in such an encounter. Alternatively, if we remain silent and they are already aware of our presence, we may be signaling weakness or hostility through our failure to respond, potentially triggering defensive or punitive actions that could be catastrophic. The leaked Pentagon documents conclude with a sobering assessment that regardless of which path humanity chooses, the age of cosmic isolation has ended. We are no longer alone in the universe contemplating whether other intelligences exist somewhere among the stars. They exist, they possess capabilities that dwarf our own, and they have demonstrated an interest in our solar system for reasons we do not yet understand. What happens next will depend on decisions being made in secure facilities and classified meetings whose outcomes will shape the destiny of every human being alive today and every generation yet to be born. The universe has revealed itself to be far stranger and more dangerous than our most imaginative science fiction ever dared to suggest, and there is no going back to the comfortable certainty we once possessed.